liking and to foster the errors they hold. 4. And will turn aside from hearing the truth and wander off into myths and man-made fictions. Verse 5. As for you, be calm and cool and steady. Accept and suffer unflinchingly every hardship. Do the work of an evangelist. Fully perform all the duties of your ministry. Verse 6, this is Paul talking to Timothy. He says, this is Paul, For I am already about to be sacrificed. My life is about to be poured out as a drink offering. The time of my spirit's release from the body is at hand, and I will soon go free. 7. For I have fought the good, worthy, honorable, and noble fight. I have finished the race. I have kept firmly held the faith. I think if I had somebody like Paul speaking those words to me, I'd be doing something. I mean, face to face. Timothy, do this. Wow. And yet in this book, he does speak to us when we get down. Now, the second thing. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3. Verse 2. 3:2. For people will be lovers of self and utterly self-centered, lovers of money and aroused by an inordinate, greedy desire for wealth, proud and arrogant and contemptuous boasters. They will be abusive, blasphemous, scoffing, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, and profane. They will be without natural human affection, callous and inhuman, relentless, admitting of no truce or appeasement. They will be slanderers, false accusers, troublemakers, intemperate and loose in morals and conduct, uncontrolled and fierce, haters of good. 4. They will be treacherous, betrayers, rash, and inflated with self-conceit. They will be lovers of sensual pleasures and vain amusements more than and rather than lovers of God. Now here's the deep part, verse 5. For although they hold a form of piety, true religion, they deny and reject and are strangers to the power of it. Their conduct belies the genuineness of their profession. Avoid all such people, turn away from them. That's pretty deep. Avoid, turn away. It doesn't mean keep talking and doing stuff with them. That's deep. Kim and I sat there today and go, whoa! 6. For among them are those who worm their way into homes and captivate silly and weak-natured and spiritually dwarfed women, loading down with the burden of their sins and easily swayed and led away by various evil desires and seductive impulses. This is what's out there. In the house and out of the house. And God showed Kim and I something today in our discussion. He says, if a known person walks through your door who's a church chaser, stop them at the door. Confront them about their sin. You've been here, you've been here, you've been here, you've been here. You will not do it here. Call them to accountability. Inspect the fruit. Mercy's done. Call them out. You're not chasing no more. You're not going to keep wreaking your havoc wherever you go. You're done. The standard's getting raised. The plumb line's being held. You're not a follower of Christ. You're a chaser of things. That's deep. That's strict. And that stops a lot of garbage. And we're sitting there not even discussing that, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, this is deep. Because here in America, you just check into the next church. You leave one, cause a mess, take off somewhere else. Cause a mess, take off somewhere else. Cause a mess, take off somewhere else. God's done. And that's what we're going to do here. If a known person comes in the door that's church chasing, we're going to corral them. Leadership will corral them. We're not saying run them off, but we're going to corral them. This is what we know about you. You're welcome in the door, but this is not allowed. Accountability. Stop the mess. Stop the chase. Stop the injury. Stop the bleeding. That's deep. And that's what I'm talking about, prayer, people, and mercy, and so forth. You've got to stop the bleeding, whatever that looks like. And in our case, that's what we're talking about, is stopping the bleeding of 61 million. Yes, others are going to fall over. Homes are going to get wrecked. Freeways are going to get flooded. America's in for one wretched time. It's not going to quit anytime soon because nobody's repenting, so therefore God can't either. He will not back up. The bulldozer's coming. And therefore, that's the hour we're in. And when you realize that, the ultimate mercy is get them in the door, God. Don't stop the fire, just get them in the door. Let God deal with the individuals out there, because there are those who will raise up, the remnants out there, they'll do glorious things. But we can't have 71 million on our watch. And so it's time to do something that's never been done. It's time to go over the edge and really lay it down and really believe that this is a God that the impossible can be done. Because America's went, what, since 73, Roe versus Wade? 83, 93, 2003, 13, holy cow. And now here we are. And I ain't looking at nobody's past or anything, I'm just saying God's calling the house. Judgment starts at the house. Anyway, that's a pretty heavy word, but that's what came out of Ezekiel, the captivity. And they're not able to do anything. So, that's what I had.
Right in line with that is what Lanny has. And then
that's why I was speaking
you've
that.
You've got that preacher here to share in a little bit, right?
Do you have something?
Mm-hmm.
Christina's got something.
As you were talking, fire and brimstone, that one guy was talking about, and then you were talking about it. Up in the front, I see just the fire and brimstone of the floor falling through. The floor is falling through, and so I was looking and trying to figure out what that possibly could mean. I see that we're gonna lose some people. The world's just gonna eat them up. They're not gonna turn. They're not gonna come towards God. We're gonna have us standing at the sides trying to help these people, but some of them are just gonna be too much of the I person, and it's just, the world's just gonna eat them up.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, the consequences.
It's like the parable of the seed.
Yes, the cares and concerns of the world and so forth. It's a heavy message, it's a heavy thought, but the biggest thought is it's not about